Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, my modem don't need power if the wireless thing is powered on. Endless scanning project, well, you're the boss. Monday morning fun. New users. The monitor arm conspiracies. Yes, I already did that. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My modem don't need power if the wireless thing is powered on. Hey everyone, so good to be posting again, it has been a while. My previous posts in this subreddit were pretty popular, so I was happy that I could entertain you all. As stated before, I am a local PC repair guy in my area and most of my customers are by word of mouth. I got this call one morning from a repeat customer. I probably hear from her about 2 to 3 times per month. So, it is around mid-morning, I get the call. I answer with my usual greeting. No clue what that greeting is, however, I am sure it was clever and somewhat charming, lol. The caller right away, and what sounded to be like she was in a panic, tells me that she has a major problem and tells me that her internet service is out. I respond and tell her, I am sorry to hear this, and tell her that the local ISP, small town, may just have an outage. Being on the same ISP and sitting in front of my PC, I checked mine, and it was working okay. I tell her this info and she says, well, that's weird, can you do me a favor and remote into my computer to see what's going on? Of course, in my head I am laughing, and of course this made me go silent. She asks if I am there. I say, yes, I am sorry, and then proceed to tell her that if her internet is not working I cannot get into her PC. She seemed confused and said, oh, I thought you said your internet is working? Of course at this point, I am not annoyed or anything, as I do understand that some people, especially a little older like this customer, really do not understand the concept of all of this. I try to explain to her that my internet is working, but for remote connection to work, that both sides would have to have internet. Still confused, she says, yeah, but I don't understand, you remotely work on my computer when it's broken all of the time. I of course spent more time trying to explain the whole thing to her, but decided to start going through troubleshooting with her. Long story short, I start at the first point, look at your modem, tell me if you see lights on. It's cable internet. She then says, well, none of those lights are on, but do they have to be? I responded, telling her that yes, they need to be on, because if they aren't then that may mean the modem has no power. She then says, well, the lights are off because I unplugged the modem, but it should be okay, because I left the wireless box plugged in. She was meaning the router. I set her up with a modem and a separate router back in the day. Curious, I asked her why she unplugged the modem. She said she felt like there was too much plugged in that corner, and she assured me it's not the problem because the wireless box is still powered, and she backs this up as proof by telling me she knows it's okay, because she can still see her network name on wireless. LOL. So, I explained to her how the modem works in harmony with the wireless box, and both have to be plugged in. Initially she tells me that she does not think I am right about this, but ate her words when the internet started working again once she plugged the modem back in. Did not charge her since this was an easy fix. Endless scanning project, well, you're the boss. This is another story from my days in a university computer support group, dealing with my boss's boss. I referred to him in the past as $Big Boss, so he'll be $BB for this story. Many years ago $BB got it into his head that he'd like to post PDFs of a whole bunch of old papers he had written or co-written on his webpage. No problem, you say, totally makes sense. However, he had no electronic copies, only the actual paper copies, and he wanted me to scan them for him. The problem for me was I had no access to bulk scanning. This was before the days of every copier having scanning ability, and we didn't even have a desktop scanner. But he wanted it done, he was the boss, so I dove in. I did have requests from some students for a scanner, and I had access to some funding that was reserved for student equipment, so I figured I could buy an inexpensive desktop scanner with a sheet feeder and borrow it for a couple of days while I had a student scan the hundreds of pages that needed to be scanned. All the papers were bound in various types of non-permanent binding, so they had to taken apart, scanned, then put back together, so the process was going to take a while. There were dozens of these documents. And to make things interesting, they were printed on A4 paper, so we had to make sure we didn't get a scanner that couldn't deal with that fact. So, I bought a scanner, did some test scans myself, seemed okay, showed one of my student employees what was needed, and went back to my real job. At the time my group was down 2 members, so I was handling way more work than normal and relying on my students a lot. We got several of the documents scanned, I took a quick look, and then copied them into $BB's directory and emailed him to please review and see if they were acceptable. He said they were, so I told my student to go to town. We got everything scanned over several days. Obviously my student wasn't available 8 hours per day, far from it. He got the documents all rebound and delivered back to $BB, and I figured we were done. But I was wrong. Within a couple of days $BB was back with a couple of issues. The scanner I had bought fed the source pages from the top or bottom of the page, not the side, long edge, and the pages were two-sided. So the pages got pulled into the scanner over the glass, scanned, then flipped, scanned, ejected, and the next page pulled in. The problem was that the pages tended to be scanned slightly off on vertical alignments, so if you were viewing a document in a PDF viewer, every other page seemed to lean slightly away from the previous page. I don't know if this was because of the non-US paper size or not, but $BB didn't like the way it looked. Frankly, I hadn't noticed when I did my quick proof. Another issue $BB brought up was that some pages, especially those with graphs or diagrams, were very faint compared to the pages with pure text. I went back to the source documents and found the originals had the same issue. It seemed to be that we were going to have to scan each page by hand, edit for brightness or contrast, then merge everything into separate PDFs. I suggested to $BB that this was really a project that should be outsourced to someone who actually did this kind of thing as a profession, but no, $BB thought that would be too expensive. I don't know how many hours I had invested at this point, but I got $BB to realize that there was no way I could do this for him in any reasonable time frame, without letting my main duties completely go. A day or so later I had what I thought was a brilliant idea. I rushed to $BB's office to tell my cool solution. I knew $BB traveled a lot. He typically spent summers outside the US, frequently in up and coming third world countries. Why not take the original documents with him on one of these trips, and find a local person or business who could transcribe the documents into some standard electronic format? It could be done for a fraction of what it would cost in the US. It would be providing work for someone who likely needed it. Diagrams and graphs could be scanned separately. It was a win-win. I'll never forget $BB's response to my idea. After getting me to mess around with this project for weeks, at a time when I was doing the work of 3 people, he just waved my idea aside and shook his head. The documents just weren't that important. I walked away wondering just how important my time was to him. Monday morning fun. New users. Firstly, we have a shared mailbox for ITS support emails. We also have a mail address that goes directly into our ticketing system, but that doesn't work for external domain emails. Those automatically drop in the shared mailbox. Also, my work-related emails have a standard signature block. Thanks, Mistress Dodo, ITS Help Desk Coordinator. This morning, Monday, I had the following email exchange. Initial email to Help Desk. Hi. I am a new staff member in Group XXXX, and am wanting to set up a computer and login. Let me know the process to get this underway. My reply. Hi. When you start, you will go through the onboarding process with HR. You get a checklist, and one of the items is to come to IT to get your username password for your account. They answered. Hi. This is the process I am currently following, as today is my start date. I have the checklist with me and will bring it along. How do I go about contacting IT directly, as this was the contact I was given to set up the account? I replied. You have contacted IT directly. Your account is ready to go. you just need to drop by to collect the details. Their answer: I have not contacted I.T directly as this was the only contact I was given. I can come to level Y and see if the details have been already set up for me. My answer: just to point out, you have contacted IT directly. We just have a shared mailbox to make sure someone being away doesn't impact the response times. We have your account ready and you can collect it at your earliest convenience. We are located building X level Y behind the lifts. She was just here to collect her account and was quite indignant that someone dared to set up an account without her input. I pointed out that HR knew when she was starting, and they let us know so we could have things ready on her start date. Her answer: well, that is a weird thing to do. The monitor arm conspiracies. When working the public sector, there are often times when several departments scream not it, when it comes to hardware management. Computers, monitors, and printers are usually accounted for, but as for the accessories, their organization often resembles the holiday candy section at Walmart the day before Christmas. As in, a mess nobody wants to wrangle. The other day I was asked to find a monitor support arm and mail it to Podunk, New Wisminnecote. The one who put in the ticket is known to be a persistent lady with her requests. I'll call her Jill. I checked her back stock and a room the requestee stated some of their stock was in. After quadruple checking, I didn't find anything and told the relevant people. However, Jill insisted that there must be a monitor arm somewhere in the unexplored bowels of the central office. She decides to send me to a forgotten basement storage room, a closet full of mostly annual reports from the 70s, and a room where a board supervisor was eating their lunch. No monitor arms were located. A week passes and Jill keeps emailing me asking for a status on locating her treasure. I states I couldn't find any and asking her department's tech coordinator didn't yield any. I was asked to then check a training lab nobody has been in since the before times. I go in and check, lo and behold, a few dusty monitor arms are hanging out behind an ancient monitor. I grab and get it mailed out. Jill was thrilled to have finally found them. She asked where they were and I told her. Oh, I think, former employee, put them there. I think she retired and is now living somewhere warm. She left like 6 years ago. So these valued monitor arms were hiding in a room for 6 years after the central office moved into the current building, hidden away by a person who I didn't even know. Can't wait to see what happens when we took out new hardware to users next month. Yes, I already did that. This story happened last month, but just getting some time to write it up now. Key players. $me equals obviously me. $OU equals older user. I get an email from $OU saying she can't print from the terminal server. $me, sometimes printers lose connection if your logon gets disconnected. Try logging off and back in. $OU, did that, didn't fix it. $me, okay, I will remote in and help you. I remote into her computer, logged her off and had her log back in. Did a test print, and boom, it worked. She thanked me and went on her print happy way. I thought all was good until $OU, printer stopped working again in the terminal server. Logged out and back in. Restarted, nothing helps. I am thinking, okay, maybe there is something wrong, and I got lucky last time. So I remote in and do all the troubleshooting steps. I deleted the printer, re-added it. Verified the printer was online, etc. Still wouldn't print at all. So, I just logged her out again and back in. Wouldn't you know, it worked again. I showed her how I did it, sent her a video of me doing it and a quick tutorial. She thanked me again, and I thought it was the last of that. It was until she said it stopped working again a week later. $OU, printer stopped. Don't tell me to log out, yes, I already did that already. $me, okay, let me do research. In the meantime, I queried her user to see her last logon time. It says 8:34, and I look at the clock, 10:41. This means she didn't log out and just disconnected from the server. $me, you didn't log out. Here is your logon time, that was 2 hours ago. Please log out. $you, how do I do that? $me, please refer to the video I sent you. $you, oh, I watched that but wasn't sure what it was. I will try that now. $me, let me know if it works. Waited about 15 minutes and I sent another email. $me, all good? $you, yes, logging out fixed it. Well, yeah,